Hi everyone, okay, this is William James Lombardy against Miguel Quinteros, which was played at Manila in the Philippines in 1973. Lombardy was one of the strongest American chess players of his time and was Bobby Fischer's second when he played Spassky for the world title. And Quinteros, on the other hand, was a very strong Argentinian grandmaster. So anyway, to get on with the game, Lombardy had the white pieces and he opened with e4. After which came c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, and a6. So it's going into the Najdorf variation of the Sicilian defense. Then bishop g5, e6, f4, and this is all still book moves. Until here. And this is played because black had played h6, and usually the bishop would go to d3, but as h6 has been played, the bishop is better placed here on e2, and it's really unusual for black to play h6 before white has developed his light square bishop, and you'll see why that becomes a problem a bit later on. So here Quinteros played rook b8, which looks like a waste of time, but what he's doing is preparing the move b5, and he can't play that straight away. Like, let's have a look at that. If he plays a b5 now, then white can exploit the weakness on g6 that playing h6 has created, where the bishop takes f6, and after knight takes f6, e5, bishop b7 attacking the queen, so say queen g3. Now we start to see this weak g pawn. Say knight d7, and then knight takes d6, f takes d6, and then queen g6, and that weakness is exposed after the f pawn recaptures. So king d8, queen takes e6, rook e8, and queen f5. And here white would have 2 pawns for his piece and very good attacking chances. So that's why rook b8 is played, to prepare b5 first of all. So then came queen g3 and rook g8, which is more or less forced, as castling would have been too dangerous, but now it's not an option at all as black has moved both of his rooks. So then came rook hf1, b5, and knight takes e6 from Lombardy, which is a strong sacrifice that again exploits the weakness on g6. So f takes e6 and queen g6 check, and king d8 really is the only viable option. If king f8, then e5, after d takes e5, f5, queen d8, bishop takes f6, g takes f6, queen takes h6 check, rook g7, and f takes e6, and here white would have a definite advantage with good attacking chances. So after the queen checks, then king d8 really is the only move. So then comes e5, d takes e5, and f5, which does open more lines against the black king, but it wasn't the strongest continuation. Better here would have been f takes e5, and after queen takes e5, bishop g3, queen e3 check, king b1, b4, bishop f4, queen a7, knight e4, knight takes e4, and queen takes e4. And here white has much better attacking chances because there's more open lines into the king. But Lombardy missed that anyway, and he played f5. So then came e takes f5, and here he played another move that wasn't the strongest in the position with bishop takes f6. This really relieves a lot of the pressure on black's position, and a better way to continue was queen f7, attacking the rook. Like, it's threatened if this knight falls, and this knight can't recapture because it's pinned, so if the bishop captures, then the rook is hanging. So rook e8, and then rook takes f5, and here white would have good enough compensation for his piece, and it's better than the game continuation because here black could have survived with accurate play. So he recaptured with the bishop anyway, and then came knight d5, which is, what Lombardy had in mind with his continuation, is seeing that the knight can get to this strong central square with tempo, because the queen's going to have to move, and it does have good attacking chances, but the previous continuation was better. So queen c6, and then rook takes f5 and rook f8, which was really a blunder. Like, better here would have been queen e6, and say for example bishop g4, queen e8, queen h7, rook h8, trapping the queen, but it's okay relatively speaking, because there's knight takes f6, and after rook takes h7 then knight takes e8 and king takes e8, and now black has the advantage and black would be winning here. He should be able to consolidate fairly easily and win the game. So it's a better continuation than rook f8, which is what Quinteros played. So then came bishop g4 and rook b6, which is, you know, offering the return of his material advantage back to stop white's attack, which is a good idea normally, but in this particular position it's not a good move, and it's really a blunder and lost the game. Like, better here again would have been queen e6, and say for example rook f3 and then queen e8, and it's just about equal, and that would have been fine for black. But he played rook b6, and now Lombardy gets a crushing attack, starting with the rook takes f6, sacrificing the exchange. So g takes f6, which is the right way to recapture. If rook takes f6 then queen takes g7, say rook e6, queen f7, and white is winning. So g takes f6, and then came queen g7, and now perhaps frustrated or something like that, Quinteros blundered the game itself and played rook b7, missing a mate in one with queen e7. But it was lost anyway, really. Like, if on the previous move instead of playing rook b7 he played rook e8, then after knight takes b6, queen takes b6, rook takes d7 check, bishop takes d7, and queen takes d7, it's mate. So it was over anyway, and it's just another example of when you're under severe pressure it's very difficult to play accurately, and it's one of the benefits of making sacrificial attacks. If they're executed properly, you can apply that kind of pressure to your opponent, and it's very hard for them not to go wrong. Okay, I'll replay that with the threatened squares highlighted just so you can see it from start to finish. So yeah, it was a brilliant game from Lombardy, who actually abandoned chess at the height of his career and became a Catholic priest instead, pretty incredibly. And it was while he was a priest that he was Bobby Fischer's second in Iceland when he played Spassky and beat Spassky for the title. And Fischer didn't actually make much use of Lombardy at that championship. There was one famous time when they were looking at a position and Lombardy said, "Oh, it looks very complicated, let's go back and analyze it, you know, in a hotel room." And Fischer said, "Oh, it doesn't matter, Spassky's no good, you know, he's a fish, let's go bowling." And they went bowling instead, and of course Fischer won probably the most historic chess championship in history. Okay, so great game anyway. I hope you enjoyed that. Please leave any comments or thoughts. Thanks very much.